Hello and welcome to episode 77 of Things I've Learned from Barry Harris. And today I thought we would discuss tritone. So a tritone, for those of you who don't know, is a chord, a dominant chord, that's basically, when Barry refers to it as, that's basically 3 whole steps higher than the chord that you were on, the dominant chord that you were on. So in this instance, we'll be using B flat 7, like if we're playing a blues in B flat. So B flat 7's tritone is E7. Now there's a lot of reasons why that works. One of them it's part of the family of dominants that connects together. One of them is it happens to have the 3rd and the 7th are in common. They just flip-flop. But you can use it when you're soloing. Barry's rule is you can use a tritone when you're going home from a dominant a 4th higher. So in this case, B flat 7 is going home to E flat 7. So it's a 4th higher. But the B flat 7 could have gone to E flat major or could have gone to E flat minor, and we could still use the E7 because it's still going home a 4th higher. So the quality of the chord that you're going to doesn't have any relevance. But for instance, there are periods of time where we would use B flat 7 where you're going back to C major or something like that. In that instance, you don't use the tritone. At least that's what Barry talks about. So let's just discuss a few things about it. So what would you play on a tritone? So one of the things that we do is when we practice the dominant scale, we say scale up and down. I'm doing E7 now. Scale in thirds, scale in triads, scale in chords, scale with the half-step rules, putting a half-step below notes. All these things that you know, pivots, all these things, they're all useful when you're doing this. The trick is, how do you play a pretty E7 phrase? And E7, that dominant, is normally resolving to something in A. So whether it be A major, A7, or A minor, it still is resolving to something in A. But in this instance, especially for the blues that we're talking about, E7 is resolving to something E flat 7. So this is the tricky part, and this is the part that deserves a lot more attention than it gets. And that is, okay, how do I make my E7 line, which is a tritone, which is already by its nature going to sound a little outside or played a little out, but how do I make it flow nicely into the E flat 7? This is where I think Barry has it over everybody, is that he's really checked this out. So for instance, he'll say something like, there are notes in E flat 7 that surround notes of E flat 7. So notes of E7 that surround notes of E flat 7. Now the reason why you need to know those surrounding things is so that you could do things like, so that was just the E and the D which surround the E flat, which is the tonic of the E flat 7. So if we said, so there's the 2 notes of surround the E flat. Then he'll do something like, what 2 notes surround the 2nd of E flat? Well, you got the tonic and the 2nd of the E7. So let's do that one. So there it was. I just came down and tried once I got to it. So now you got, maybe I'll do 2 half steps when I get to E flat 7, considering that I'm on the 2nd. So maybe 1, 2, 3. So there's 2 more notes of the tritone. Now, what if we surrounded the 2 notes of E7, surrounded the 3rd of E flat 7? So it'd be the 3rd of E and the 2nd of E surround the 3rd of the E flat 7. So then you have to think to yourself, okay, so let's try that one. Not bad. So how about, that's a nicer phrase. So we'll say So That's the third. Now we'll do the fourth, which is nice. So the fourth and the fifth, let's see. Oh, what would be nice? Well, the fourth and the third of the E7, this is a tricky spot because the third of the E7 is actually the third of the E7 is actually the fourth of the E flat 7. So now we have to come up with something interesting for that. So maybe if we said, so maybe we'll play the fourth and the fifth of the E7, and then we'll play the fourth of the E flat. So let's see. That was nice. Let me see if I can do it right though. That's nice, fourth and fifth. So now we'll do the fourth and fifth of the E7 also surround the fifth of the E flat. So let's try that. So that's nice too. So that's the fourth and the fifth. Now we'll do the fifth and the sixth, which surround the sixth of the E flat. So we'll say that wasn't the nicest phrase, but that wasn't bad. I pivoted. So oh, that was nice. I just came down the important minor for the E flat 7, which is B flat minor. So and then we got the last one, which is the seventh. Maybe we'll do like the seventh. Let's see. Again, you have that problem with the half step. But we go back to 7 and tonic. But maybe we could just do. Okay, let's try that. Let's see. I like that. I like those. Those are nice. But this is what I mean about like Barry getting into the very nitty-gritty of all this stuff. It's one thing to tell a person, well, here's a rule. You can play a tritone. So if you're playing a B flat 7, you can play an E7 and run it into E flat. It's another thing to practice all these different angles to do it, to make it sound and flow really nicely. Almost like the tritone is not really that out because you're resolving in such a nice way. And I was talking to somebody yesterday about this. We were talking on a lesson. And he was saying how beautiful it was that he was transcribing Sonny Rollins and all these other people, but especially Sonny Rollins, and he was seeing it like, oh, wow, there's a tritone right there. Look, he's starting off the tritone right there. He's playing the tritone right there. And it's really something because it sounds out, but it doesn't sound so out that it's dramatic. It sounds out and it's giving you a little dissonance, but then it resolves itself really nicely. That's a very hard thing to do, and that's the thing that requires the most practice. Something else that people do sometimes, and Barry does it once in a while, is whatever phrase you play on a dominant, like you then play it on the tritone. So let's say if we were taking, let's say if we're taking the third and fourth bar of the blues, where we say, right here, right there, that B flat. Maybe I might say something in B flat 7. I'll use a thing. Let's say I take a, I start on the 3, or maybe I'll start on the 3 and run up to the 4, run back down, and I'll still use the rule for the note that I started on, which is 3. So I'll put 1 half step. So there's our thing. So here we go. And then, see, then I used it exactly for the tritone. But I might change it a little for the tritone to make it a little nicer. So let's see. So you change it a little bit just to make it fit. But maybe if I don't run up to the 4, maybe if I just leave it playing. That's a nice one. So let's see. Yeah, that's a nice one. So that's another concept where you take a thing. So like suppose I did a chord up from the 5th, and then I did a chord up from the 5th of the E7. So if I said, that's a nice little thing that you can do too. Whatever you use on the tritone, whatever you use on the dominant, you do it again on the tritone. And it can work really nicely. You could start a nice, let's see if I started on 3. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that'll try. Let's see. Let's see if I start on 4. Yeah, let's try on 3, 1/2 step. And then the same thing here. Let's see. Very pretty. Chord up. Also pretty. Wait. That was, I used a 1/2 step. When I got down to the 2nd, I came down a chord. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm start on the 3rd, go put a 1/2 step. So let's try that one. They're really beautiful. So remember, the most important thing to remember from this, I think, is the rule for the tritone is just you can use it when you're going a 4th higher, when you're resolving a 4th higher. But now it's up to all of us to really make that connection between the E7 and the E flat 7 and how slick we can make that connection. And that's the thing that Barry has, I feel like, over everybody. He's really checked this out. And if you look at any of his phrases, if you listen to any of his music, when he plays tritone, it's so special. It's like it really puts you into a special place because he plays it, it's out, but the resolution is always so effortless that it just makes the out even better. So that's something for us to keep in mind. Too many people, I feel like, have a lot of rules and they say, well, you can use a tritone or you can do this, and all those are true, but you have to be able to use it in a practical sense when you're playing, and it has to mean something, and it has to be musical, because otherwise there's no, if you play everything tritone and everything's out and you never resolve it right, then that means you're just playing everything out. If you're playing everything out, then it's not really out anymore if you're playing out all the time. Anyway, I hope this was helpful in discussing the tritone. And yeah, until next time, enjoy practicing your tritone. Thanks.